I'm Mike.
And I'm Angela.
I am also Mike.
And this is NFGeeks. All right. Well, this is a great episode. We're wanting to have one of these episodes for a long time. And this is, I think, our first NF romantic couple on NFGeeks. So this is a special romantic episode because we actually have a functioning or somewhat functioning NF relationship before us. So so first, what are your personality types so we can kind of get a sense of...
I'm an ENFP.
Mm-hmm. And I am an INFJ.
Great, INFJ. And that's, as an ENFP, one of my favorite combinations. I think what's great about this combination, just kind of start us off, is that anytime I find in the NFs when the extroversion, introversion is opposite and the perceiving, judging is opposite, that's a very good balance. I've always had very balanced relationships,
yes.
Male or female, with an INFJ. They're providing something that you can't do, and you're providing something for them, and at the same time, all the values lock up. Do you find that experience in your own relationship?
You want to take that one?
It's all yours.
See? Already. I think we do. I think we do balance each other out pretty well, especially me being an ENFP, and I'm very emotional and all over the place, and he kind of grounds me a little bit. I feel like that happens a lot in any situation.
You're very radical. And you need someone to bring you down sometimes. Someone to keep you down on earth.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's exactly what Dave would have said about me. That's funny. Previous co-host.
Yes, yeah,
of
I remember
NFGeeks.
Dave.
Right, Dave. Dave would have said the exact same things. That's a very INFJ things to say.
Nice.
That's great. Is there any way? Okay, so what does she do for you in terms of balancing? What does she do for you?
Almost the same thing, only I don't go so high up.
Mm-hmm.
But she provides a realistic opinion to different things. Like, I tend to get upset much quicker, and she can tell me, well, it's not worth getting upset over, or what else? Because you usually notice it before.
No, that's good. No, I understand that INFJs often get in the fast lane, the pissiness. Sometimes immediately, right in the speed lane,
Yeah, and it's usually not something that another person might get as upset about.
No, it's usually something quite small.
Yeah, it starts off as something small and it kind of turns into something big, and then we kind of have to go back and forth. And he does that for me too.
Yeah.
But it's also, again, with the extroversion, introversion, is a lot of his feelings are more kind of in there, and I almost have to kind of bring them out, I feel like sometimes.
All right, so I want you guys really to talk about is how your relationship emulates NF values. So how NF, because you're both NFs and you're in this sort of this balanced NF relationship, how NF values are coming off of you, either as a unit or each other, or coming at each other, bouncing off each other, any way you want to think about it. So, for example, an important NF value, and I always bring this NF value up because it's important to ENFPs, is authenticity.
Yeah.
So in a general sense, NFs care very much about being authentic, and particularly the ENFPs. This is one of our specific values. All the NFs, of course, care about authenticity. But it's really very important, and it's important for NFs. So how do you express authenticity to each other or in the relationship as a whole, you think?
Well, I feel like us as individuals want to make sure that we express ourselves authentically, as in showing our true selves, making sure that we're happy with what we're doing in our own lives, and also making sure that the other one is happy with what they're doing in their life. And I also, from my personal feeling, I feel like we have that connection as NFs where we can go to that almost separate feeling, like I really understand, or I feel like I understand how you're feeling, kind of thing. And maybe that's more on my part than it is your part, but...
Well, how is that authentic?
Because I feel like I can almost tell what's going to make him happy and not push him into doing things like a job or a certain education or any kind of field of work that I know that I feel like it's not going to make him happy, and I want him to be who he is and do what's going to make him happy and how he's going to feel that he's fulfilling his life.
I do feel that it's better to be original and unique, and that's what I like about you, because you don't try and be like other people. You're yourself, and you love who you are, and I love that about you. And there aren't a whole lot of people that can say that, but I'm pretty lucky.
Oh, isn't that sweet? All right. All the NTs are barfing.
Oh, yeah, they are. They've been barfing since the 2 seconds. As soon as we said couple bullet.
No, NTs have love, too.
They have their own kind of love.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay, so another important value to NFs is enthusiasm. Being enthusiastic and expressing enthusiastic. And so how is enthusiasm expressed between you or through you guys?
You are definitely very enthusiastic. You get to a point where I like to call it bubbly and giggly.
Yes.
And it's exciting to be around you, because even the smallest things, you get so excited about them, and it makes me almost appreciate the little things in life more. Even if I did before we were together, even so now I appreciate just, getting up in the morning and being able to see you when you're there. And when you come home from work, I get to see you again. It's the little things that really count, and you definitely brought that out in me.
That's definitely an NF feeling too. That it's the emotional connection to it, and I'm sure you feel this too, even in your own relationships too. Is that it's
my own plane crash disasters? Yes, as we're crashing into the mountain, and,
we're like,
and the engine is coming through the
awesome.
cockpit.
Even though I never thought it's gonna crash. Yeah.
Yes.
That's okay.
Okay.
But it's all right, and I agree, and it's the same thing with me, that I feel like I can get excited about those things because there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. I feel like when we're doing stuff together or whatever, it's not the same as when we're with other people. And I feel like we almost bring other people into our little bubble of us.
It's contagious.
Yeah, we if
Sure.
we're in a room of people, even if we weren't comfortable
that.
around each other, even if we're sitting on the opposite rooms of each other, we kind of bring everyone into that little section that is us land.
So your enthusiasm about each other and your relationship spreads out into others, and they become enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm. But I don't feel
or nauseated, depending.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel like we get to the point of nauseating others. But the other types might disagree. But I feel like we have just that right amount of being mushy and I love you or whatever, but at the same time,
it's not overbearing.
Yeah, we can be around people. They know that we're together, but it's not like people who are in the honeymoon stage where they're all over each other, and you can absolutely say, well, if they're not together, there's probably something wrong with this situation.
Sure, I understand that. You were talking about this, and you didn't, when you were talking about authenticity, but you were actually, and part of that conversation, you were talking about empathy. And of course, and all NFs, this is very, very important. It might be the most important part of NFs in general. So, how is empathy going on within your relationship and through you and between you?
What do you think?
Empathy, huh?
You gotta think about it inside for a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I feel like our empathy actually kind of backfires a little bit, as we were talking about previously. In previous episodes where you and I have talked about, with us being ENFPs, but also with other ones, and it does happen to him too as an INFJ, but I feel like it backfires in the fact where we together have attracted the wrong kind of attention or the wrong kind of people into our lives, where we've been taken advantage of as a couple, not even just as individuals, but in all kinds of situations, in living situations.
In what way? Are you saying that empathy works against you?
Sometimes, yes. Feeling, we had a situation where we felt bad because a friend got kicked out of his house and didn't have a place to go, and we let him live with us. And we didn't ask him to pay rent. We told him, he could just put food in the fridge whenever he wanted or whatever. And we were very lenient about it, but about 3 months in, we ended up about $1,500 in debt from electrical bills of him being up all night and, doing things he shouldn't be doing. And
That's great. That reminds me.
It definitely blew up in our face to feel bad for him and do him a favor.
Yeah, that's like the... this is a crazy analogy, but that's like the SpongeBob episode where Squidward quits the Krusty Krab and lives with SpongeBob.
Yes.
Funny how I know that.
Yeah. Well,
you have little brothers. So
and SpongeBob keeps saying, "Get a job."
Yeah.
Keeps saying that over and over.
Yeah.
That's a very funny one.
It is. It is a good one. You should watch it.
I recommend
Absolutely.
it.
All right. Okay. Another. And this might be a little harder, but and I'll try to link. There's two things I'm thinking here. Another obviously important part of NF, and we've been talking about this with the dreams actually, is our intuitive nature, and having sort of a weird sort of intuitive nature with people, between people. What kind of intuition stuff goes on in your relationship? Are you intuitive to each other to the point where you know things or can predict things or kind of sense things? Like, when is that kind of stuff going on?
Yeah.
What are some examples
ideas.
of that?
That happens to the point where it becomes a little eerie.
Oh, good. Like what?
We both know so much about each other that she can almost predict my routine. Even if I'm the only one that knows it, she knows which glass I like best when I have a glass of water. She knows my favorite kind of food on my birthday. She knows which towel is my favorite when I get out of the shower because I like a big towel. And she knows my favorite. She always has it ready. And I'm not sure if that's just because we've known each other for so long or if she really does know what I'm thinking. But you have very strong intuition when it comes to things about each other.
I'd like to think that too. And even to the point where it's actually happened to us a couple of times where I have gone to get him a glass of water, or I've gone to get him like a t-shirt out of the closet or something like that, and I bring it to him. He's like, "How did you know? How did you know that's what I wanted?"
Shirt I wanted to wear.
Yeah, or this is exactly the point in time where I'm sitting looking at my hand, wishing there was a glass of water in it, and lo and behold, the glass of water shows up. To that point,
do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to hear about, because that leads to the next thing, which is, NFs have and are criticized for sometimes having sort of an air of wanting to see mystical things and mysticism and sort of weird psychic things and all that stuff. We love that.
Yes, we do.
All right, so this is sort of leading into that. So do you have those weird, mystical, psychic kind of cosmic things that go on? Or cosmic things about you?
Between us?
Between us or about the relationship, sure.
Okay.
Like what?
Well, kind of going back to the intuitive thing, but like we said, it almost gets to a point where it's like, you don't know if it's because we know each other or if it's because we can actually feel it, and it's like this this kind of like supernatural like ability that supernatural might be like a little bit of a too big word for it, but to the point where we can kind of see where the other one's going with an idea before the sentence comes out. And even around other people, we feel like we can understand how the other one's feeling about a person. It even goes to a person, an incident, an occurrence, how we feel about certain things, how we feel about music, how we're feeling at that particular time, when we want to be near each other and when we don't want to be near each other. And I feel like we don't even have to talk sometimes because it's just there, and it's just in the air amongst us.
Well, for me personally, I feel like our cosmic connection is much stronger because if I think of a personal, like a time that this happened between other people, my parents were married for 20 years, and they didn't know each other well enough like she knows me. My mother could never do those things for my father. And I think that's strange because we've only been together for 3 years. Granted, I've known you for about 10 years, but there's no reason why you should know that more than my mom should know what my dad wanted, other than we have that strong connection. And maybe my parents didn't. And maybe other people don't either. But there's something there.
And to also go back to the dream part, remember when I told you guys the story, if you were paying attention, about the...
Are you going to give him a quiz?
Yes. The recurring dream that I had where I was in the car but I could never see the face.
Yes.
It was him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was him that it ended up happening to, where I actually saw the face.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So like I was talking about, where I felt that, oh my gosh kind of moment, was with that, where I was seeing the exact incident, but that now the face was coming, and that made a big impact on me, that I could actually see the face after all that time of having the dream without the face. Wow.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you guys for coming on. That's great. And as we like to say here on NF Geeks, remember, more pork chops,
Less karate chops.
That's right.